variables, you can explain what is that. How do you frame that research variables and objectives, hypothesis, everything you can put like this, madam.
Sir, do you have to write synopsis in the exam?
Sorry?
Any question will come on synopsis? Do you have to write synopsis in the exam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Synopsis is most important, sir. See, any research activities, questions will be, will be raised.
Questions will be asked on synopsis, or will I have to write the synopsis?
No, so it's a format.
We have to give the format.
Yeah, format. It is like this, sir. The format like this. So you need to, write a title of the paper, research activities. For example, a comparative study of marital adjustment between. So you can take different parameters also. So and then you need to mention that the geographical area. Like
sir, I got understood that. My question is, will the question come like this?
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
Write a synopsis on this.
Yes, sir. Not only this, you can they can ask any particular variables,
okay.
Or it is up to you. You can take any variables, then you can write.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay. Next.
Hello, sir.
So can you also share some?
Sir, I have. Hello.
Yes. Yes, madam.
Sir, this research proposal we have to prepare by tomorrow.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
So we have to prepare all like synopsis format or just a proposal? Like
it's just a proposal.
So
how your research activities will be in future?
So, sir, the topic we can choose by our choice, no?
Yes, madam. Yes, completely.
It should be. Yes, sir. It should be on psychology only or any other.
No. It should be on psychology only.
On psychology only.
So before going to that, I tell you measurable variables. So before going to that, we need to understand what is psychology. So psychology, I think all of you know that it is a scientific study of behavior. Behavior which involves three major category behavior in terms of physical, in terms of cognitive abilities, in terms of psychosocial element. So physical elements is nothing but what are the our biological behavior that involves in any particular action and reactions. Okay, so that you can measure. And cognitive abilities, second cognitive element, which is also one of the important major part of behavior. So like memory, thinking, reasoning, decision making, creative, whatever, emotional, artificial intelligence, like that you can take any variables. That should be measurable variable. So you can take any one of variable for measurable as a measurable variable in your research activities. And third element of the behavior is psychosocial element. Psychosocial element, for example, personality, emotional intelligence, emotions, feelings. Okay, so personality. So these are the variables that comes in the element of psychosocial activities or dimensions. Okay, so you can take. So these are actually measurable variables, but you need to put such variables in a particular research problems. Okay, so based on that only we can usually you can go with a particular research activities. So you can take one variables or you can combine two variables, three variables accordingly. In case if you Google it, in case if you search previous existed activities, research activities, you can easily find what are the significant correlation between first and second variables and first and second, third, and how many variables that you're supposed to take. So that should have some empirical evidence between two or more variables. Okay, so otherwise the problem that research proposals will not be complete. Okay, so there is a so that is why in case if you Google it, you can get n number of definitions for research, but ultimate the research is nothing but systematic procedure to gain something. So that's it. So systematic means there is a link between first chapters and second chapters, like introductions and review of literatures. Once you understand what are the existed literatures that you can see, so based on that you need to design your research methodology, which comes in third unit. So like for determine the or formulating the research hypothesis or objectives, you need to look into some existed literatures activities, especially for empirical research activities. Okay, sometimes it could be government data,
Excuse me,
thesis
sir.
published.
Sir, if
Yes.
you're sharing something, we can't see it. We are seeing just the participant window only. Yep, better now. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, you just once you understand this, what is research, synopsis or research papers, it could be, then you can just go with particular element. For example, first unit introduction. What is that? How to introduce our research variables in a particular format, and how to define what is operational definition, what is the theoretical definition, what it could be. So do one thing, madam. Please, all of you prepare research, that synopsis by tomorrow. By the moment you can easily understand what are the process, procedure we need to maintain that. What are the element that comes? What is a statement of the problem? Objective, everything you can easily understand while you are putting in proper way. Okay. So in case anybody getting confusions or not able to put proper way, so then we'll discuss it later, no problem. Okay, so ultimately you should be very thorough while preparing research activities in terms of synopsis.
Sir,
So and then
what topic we will take?
so you can take any topic, madam. That is up to you. Your interested topic you can take. Like as I told you, right? Recently, I told measurable variable, like in terms of physical, in terms of cognitive, or in terms of psychosocial element. Like personality, you can take disorders, you can take schizophrenic, stress, and academic performance. IQ, academic performance. You can see, significant correlation between independent variable and dependent variable, and you can take stress and depressions, and depression and suicidal ideations, anxiety
Oh,
and suicidal ideations, and
so
cognitive abilities and social elements like personality, introvert, extrovert, ambivert. Okay, for example, emotional, like a mood at the workplace. Okay, so what kind of nature, personality that you have, so that determines your personality. And stress, what are the biological responses for stress? What are the cognitive responses for the stressors? So you can take academic stress, occupational stress, or you can take so any other
Excuse me,
measure
sir.
variables, sir.
Excuse me,
It
sir.
is
You
up to
said,
you.
excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. You said something about assuming two scenarios here, just to imaginary one. And how can we put that analysis of variation into this particular thing where we don't have any evidence on that? Because evidence is based on some facts, right? But if we take something imaginary one, then how can we apply that ANOVA there?
So ANOVA is something different. It is not imaginal. In case if you take more than two variables, then you can easily identify whether the data is significant in between three variables or not. We don't know whether the data is significant or not. Okay, but once you apply that ANOVA or Markova, whatever the statistical method, then only we can understand so whether the data is significant or not.
so in your
Even if it is
paper,
imaginary one.
No, sir, it is not imaginary. Hypothesis, even hypothesis is also not imaginary. So based on some evidence. So that is why
Okay.
we need to look into some existed literatures, empirical
Okay. So
literature.
it doesn't apply for the imaginary one. The evidence doesn't apply for the imaginary one.
No, sir. All so this is that is why it is a scientific way of gaining something new, sir. We can't
Okay.
we can't move with imaginary thoughts or idea whatever. There is
Thank
a
you.
evidence, proof, empirical proof for that. In case if you put any kind of, whether it is a null hypothesis or alternative hypothesis, there is a evidence.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So in the paper you showed us,
Yeah.
everything put together is considered the synopsis?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam. So from, title itself until end of the report or table. So what do you supposed to, what category, what kind of information you
should
supposed to take, you
collect.
supposed to collect.
Okay.
Okay, so which include hypothesis, objectives, statement of the problem, universal sample, tools for data collections, and data analysis. So everything it contains.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes, madam.
Sir, in tools, do we have to write reliability and validity of these tools also in synopsis, or just to mention that which tool we are using?
Yes, madam. You need to mention in the research proposal itself, because in case if you not find at the moment of while you are preparing research, synopsis, definitely you will be struck, or sometime it will be misleading in further analysis. In
Okay, sir.
if you know
And
thoroughly that the tools, then only what actually it measures.
okay, sir. And sir, if we don't have any standardized tool
Uh,
and we are preparing that by self, so in that case, what we have to do?
Madam, you can prepare yourself, no problem, on any particular variables, but it takes more than 1 year, 1 or 2 years. Madam.
No, sir. Like in this research proposal, if we write that we are in for just one variable, we are using self-prepared questionnaire or something.
Uh,
So, how we will explain its reliability and validity on base of that?
so that is why, madam. So here, see, marital adjustment questionnaire. It has a 0.70 reliability. So which is a standardized one. Marital adjustment questionnaire.
Yes,
This is
sir.
developed by Pramod Kumar, Dr. Kanchana Rohtagi. Okay. So by preparing this or become the particular tool is a standardized one.
Excuse me, sir.
They
Excuse me,
usually
sir. Excuse me, sir. What are the four objectives? I have missed it. Please, sir. What are the four objectives?
yeah
I missed it.
objectives.
Objectives.
Madam, you just let me complete this. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a standardized one. So before going to the any particular tools become a standardized one, they usually take more than 5,000, 10,000 sample, and they have to do test and retest. They usually check test, retest, reliability, validity, and all. Then
Yes,
it becomes standardized one.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So,
Okay. So actually it will take more than 1 or 2 years, madam, to that any particular tools become a standardized one.
okay, sir. So, if we are using standardized tools, sir, so we can take only that reliability and validity of that tool only, or we have to test this reliability and validity according to our study.
According to that, our study also you need to check. So there is an option Cronba Alpha.
Okay, sir.
After data collection by using standardized tools, we need to check our data whether the data is reliable or what.
Okay, so in case of if we are preparing synopsis, we don't have to do that right now. If we are preparing this proposal for tomorrow, we don't have to do that, no?
Okay, no problem. How many you are get ready with research synopsis? Okay, no problem. Otherwise, you just keep working on that research proposal, writing that.
Okay, sir.
Then definitely it will be helpful to your further research activities.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So and then uh, uh, what is that? Okay. Okay. Anything else related to research proposal, preparing research proposal? Madam, you are telling something?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
What are the four Objectives.
Objectives. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So here uh, there are four objectives are there. The first objective is to identify in case whether it is academic stress. Suppose if you want to assess the academic stress of the adolescent age group, you need to understand what level of academic stress they have.
Okay.
Okay, and is there any contributing factor or towards any dependent variables? Like the dependent variable could be their performance or adjustment, academic adjustment, like that. How they are perceiving or how much amount of stress they are perceiving as academic stress, then how their academic adjustment will be. By the moment you can see a correlation between academic stress and academic adjustment, and you can see a difference, a significant difference between you can take gender wise differences, age wise, category wise, or urban and rural. Okay, and then the socio-demographical variables also, it means a lot in terms of see the significant difference or correlations also, like economical status, social background, and political background. The persons who are studying with the different, category of schools like government schools and private schools, you can see significant differences between private school students and then government school students. Somewhere we can get a significant difference between two different kind of categories.
Yes.
Okay, so by the moment you can look into some literatures,
Okay.
empirical evidence for that.
So
Okay,
here,
so
so the way you have put down the objectives, the hypothesis is a reflection of the objectives, right?
yes, madam, definitely. So here, as I told you, right? So first objective is to study the nature of the marital adjustment here.
Okay.
First hypothesis will be there will be a higher level of marital adjustment problems in newly married couple. So in case if you put a higher level of adjustmental problems, so this is alternative hypothesis or directive hypothesis. So for that, you need to look into existed literatures, whether they have higher level of marital adjustment or moderate level or lower level. In case if you don't know their level of adjustment, then you can put null hypothesis.
Okay.
There is no that adjustmental problems in newly married couple, or there
Yes,
will
sir.
be no adjustmental issues, adjustmental problems in newly married couple, like that you can put. Once the data is calculated, interpreted, then we can easily say that yes, the particular age group or particular sample may have a higher level of marital adjustment or moderate level of adjustment problems or lower level of adjustment problems.
Okay.
By the moment null hypothesis will be rejected.
Okay.
Okay, so it is all about, so once you go through that, then only you can easily understand how what kind of hypothesis we need to put. So in case significant evidence will not be available, then obviously you can go with the null hypothesis. So after data interpretation, you can say that whether the null hypothesis is accepted or rejected.
So,
Okay,
so in the first hypothesis,
yes, madam.
the null hypothesis would mean
Hmm.
that there is not any high level adjustment problems. That
Yeah.
is a null hypothesis.
Yes, madam. There will
And
be a no
huh,
marital adjustmental problems
huh.
in newly married couples.
So after we do the research and we find out that there is a significant amount of adjustment problems,
Yes, madam.
then
Yes.
we reject the null hypothesis,
Yes,
and
yes.
that would be the conclusion of our research.
Research activities. Yes, madam.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. Sometimes we don't know. For example, let me tell you. Suppose if you want to assess the academic stress among adolescent age group. Suppose if you take
Ankush,
data in the
there is some
beginning,
Ankush, please
disturbance
turn
from
off
your
your
end.
mic.
Ankush, some disturbance from your end. Digital.
Yes, sir.
yes. Okay. If you want to assess the academic stress among adolescent age group, sometimes once you collect the data from the adolescent age group, sometimes it could be higher level, sometimes it could be average level, and then low level also we can expect. It is depending on when and how you are collecting. For example, at the beginning of the semester, they may have lower level of academic stress. At the end of the semester or nearby the examinations, they may have higher level of academic stress due to examination and all. When you supposed to collect or that apply that data and collect the data and that manipulating, say, so everything that counts in terms of the level of academic stress. So that is why no need to bother about our output or result, but based on the existed data, okay, we need to put hypothesis, whether it is a null hypothesis or alternative hypothesis. Okay, so then we'll say whether the data is accepted or rejecting the hypothesis or what. Okay,
Okay.
so this is how the research could be. For example, our mood also. Okay, so there is a changes, almost changes in our behavior based on our mood. Sometimes we can expect the aggressive behavior, sometimes we can expect the very calm and composed type of behaviors. It is all about, because it is a psyche, person psyche, so it will be vary from situation to situations. So that is why while framing that hypothesis or objectives, there should be some evidence. So based on some evidence or proof only we can put. Okay, madam, so now 3 o'clock, so we can take 10 minutes of break. We'll join by 3:10.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, madam.
Hello, sir.
Hello, madam. Hello, madam. Okay, welcome back. So once again, we look into that sampling, which is most important. Do you know the difference between probability and non-probability sampling techniques?
No, sir.
Okay. So once you identify the study populations, like your like area wise or your age wise or gender wise, once you identify that, you need to determine the sample size. Okay, so how do you pick among study populations? For example, in case if you want to see academic stress among adolescent age group is the studies population. So you need to restrict it to particular geographical area like Bangalore, Karnataka, India, like that. Okay, so based on that study population, you need to draw. Okay, how do you draw? Okay, so here we need to follow certain sampling methods. So that is we can see two types of sampling methods. So that is probability sample techniques and then non-probability sample techniques methods. Okay, so probability sample techniques is nothing but suppose you want to take 100 peoples from the study populations by using simple random or systematic random sampling. Okay, so if you want to select the 100 peoples or 10 peoples from the classroom, so you can take by naming that a particular person like from male from female, then you can take directly. Okay, by picking that particular persons. Okay, so that is while you are picking the particular persons, by the moment there is a equal chance to the persons who are available in the classroom. Okay, so that is probability sample techniques. There is a equal probability, equal chance for every study population. In case if you draw sample from such a conditions, so that is nothing but probability sample techniques. Non-probability in the sense there is no equal chance to all of them, the persons who are getting to that particular research activities by accidentally or by convenience according to our the purpose study purpose, we usually get into that and we try to get the information from the particular sample. So this is non-probability sample techniques. Okay, so under probability sample techniques, probability, yeah, under probability sample techniques, probability sampling methods are those that clearly specify that probability or likelihood or inclusion of each element or individual in the sample. So probability sampling is free of bias in the selecting sample unit or sample size. They help in estimation of the sampling error and evaluate sample result in terms of their you know precision, accuracy, and efficiency, and hence the conclusion reached from such samples are worth generalization and comparable to similar population to which they belong major probability sample methods, or that could be simple random sampling techniques, and then random sample techniques, stratified random sampling techniques, and all. We can get advantages and disadvantages from all the probability sample techniques. So simple random sampling is nothing but the persons who are available in the classroom. You just by picking a one or two or number of sample that you want, you just pick with the equal chance with from male side and female side. So that is a simple random techniques. And Systematic random techniques is nothing but in case 100 people are there in the classroom, you need to assign number to each and every students by taking every five numbers, okay, or even numbers, odd numbers, or 10, 20, 30, like that. You can pick, you can choose the sample. So that is a systematic uh, random sample techniques. And then third one, stratified random technique sample is nothing but we need to divide into different strata, like area wise or category wise or population wise or gender wise, whatever. So based on that, once you classified into strata the data, study population, then by applying a simple or a systematic randomized sample, you can choose the sample. So that is stratified random sampling techniques. So you can see advantages and disadvantages also from the three different category of sample techniques. Then non-probability sample techniques. Okay, non-probability like accidental, convenience, quota sample, and purposive sample. So and snowball sampling. So these are the non example for non-probability sample techniques. For example, according to our convenience, according to the study purpose, we supposed to draw a sample from the study sample, study population. So that could be a purposive or convenience sample techniques. For example, if you want to study the academic performance of the adolescent age group, suppose the persons who are studying in the particular colleges, schools or colleges like private or government, you just approach the institutions or organizations, the persons who are available in between 12 to 20 years of age group, usually we can take the we can approach them by taking that consent from the respective students. We collect the data from them. So this is how the convenience, according to study, according to the researchers, according to the materials or the persons who are available, we can approach and collect the data. Okay, so this is comes under the non-probability sample techniques. And snowball sample techniques. So it is like that the persons, rare cases only we can use that snowball sample techniques. For example, suppose sometime we use data in rare cases like assessing classical conditioners dancers, classical dancers of emotional maturity or academic development or emotional maturity, life satisfactions, like that. In case if you want to study, then approaching anybody, the persons who are available, classical dancer or classical singers. So once you approach them, they will refer some others who knows them. Okay, so by approaching the persons who are refer, we can we can meet our a number of samples. So this is how the sampling, snowball sampling techniques may consider for selecting to identification of the sample. So this is some major part of research activities of again in terms of data collections or in terms of determining the sample or sample methods. And next one, so survey research. So we can see a lot of research activities. So like parametric, non-parametric, qualitative research, quantitative research, and under the quantitative and qualitative, so like a descriptive one, correlational one, cross-sectional, longitudinal. So many research activities will come. So survey research usually in academic, okay, in a dissertation work or a PhD, MPhil thesis. So usually we go with the survey research activities, survey research methods. What is survey research? So you can define like this. The method of survey research is a non-experimental research activities like a descriptive one. So method which is one of the quantitative method used for studying a large by using large sample. Okay, like 2500. So in the experimental cases, we can't use a large sample like 2500, 1000 like that. So we can go with a 30, 20, 10. So in quantitative research analysis, we can't get a huge number of data. Okay, it is very difficult analyzing the data as well as the interpreting the data also, because it is completely unique one. But in quantitative research is not like that. By using different questionnaires or a checklist or a Likert kind of research tools, we can easily approach anybody or huge amount of the question the sample populations, and based on that we can easily interpret the data, and we can generalize the data based on whatever information that got. Okay, so the descriptive research method, which is one of the quantitative method used for studying for large sample. In a survey research, the researcher collect the data with the help of standardized questionnaire. The standardized questionnaire is nothing but which has a good reliability, validity, and norms. Even interpretation part also, that particular questioner should have. Or interview method, like a open-end question or close-end questionnaire. By using such question, we can interview them, number of sample. Based on that data, we can interpret, and we can generalization also. So which administered on the sample of respondent from the population. The population could be the which replicable of the entire universe. The method of survey is one of the technique of applied social research, which can be helpful in collection of the data both through direct and indirect observations. Okay, along with that, once you use standardized tools, and also you can observe the person's behavior with a different angle also. By the moment you can put qualitative and quantitative research method together. Okay, some rare cases also we can apply both qualitative and quantitative research analysis. So here in the survey method, there are many steps involved in the entire research activities. For example, determination of the aims and objective of the study. So before that, we need to define what is research variable, or what is research title. Once you identify research title variables, then it is very easy to determine the aims and objective of the study. Okay, so and the second one is define the population to be studied. So like area wise, okay, or population wise, or age wise, gender wise, or any particular problem wise, like behavioral issues, behavioral problems, like specific learning disabilities, so depressions, anxiety, schizophrenic, OCD. So any particular measurable variable that you can put with a particular geographical area. Then we need to define what is that exactly. We need to define that populations. Okay. So after selecting the theme of the research, I mean area, like variables of the research, the researchers also needs to define the target population which would be studied by him or her. So as discussed earlier, the population or universe would be a collection of population, people or object that would process at least one common characteristic, which is going to be help, and which would also provide direction in the process of conducting the research. So obviously, so the objectives hypothesis, it gives clear cut directions how the research activities could be. So what we supposed to assess, what are the outcomes we supposed to expect, or it could be like that. So based on that, we need to design the construct a survey also. The survey, whether it is in a descriptive one or so how do we collect the informations? How do we, issue that questionnaire to the particular population, study populations, target populations? We need to define that exactly. For example, we need to mention that inclusive criteria and exclusive criteria also. We need to define that what exactly that populations could be. Okay, or he or she need to design a survey research on the basis of the frame design. The research decide to conduct a survey, select instrument for survey, or what exactly that. Okay, so based on the availability, data availability, we need to design some survey. So then the select the representative sample. That should be representative one. We can't get the overall population. So among population, study population, we need to draw some sample, okay, to measure, to test, and based on the data, whatever the data is getting from the representative sample, then we need to generalize the data which is applicable to the entire study population. We can generalization. The process of construction of the survey instrument, giving a way of selections of the sample from the target populations. The researchers select a sample which represent nearly maximum characteristics of the whole universe population. If the sample selected is a good representation of the population, then the result or the findings of the survey concluded on the sample can be easily generalized on the population as a whole. So we are generalizing the data after the interpretation of the data. So that is why the representative of the samples could be very proper. While we are choosing the sample, that should be very systematic, or by using different kinds of the sampling method, we should draw a particular or representative sample, so which is most important in the process of data collections. Then administer the survey. So mean we need to go with the certain procedure how to collect the data and how to interpret the data, and everything should be in the proper way, and analyze and interpret the findings of the survey. So what are the major findings after the data interpretation? We need to define that exactly. So what are the steps? Survey process such as coding and the data, and then processing it, and how to interpret. So based on that, particular category, age wise or the number wise, okay, average wise, we can easily interpret and prepare the report of the survey. So once we understand what is that, or once we interpretation has been done, so based on that, we need to discuss. So with the help of, with the justification of existed literatures, whether the data is supporting the hypothesis or rejecting the hypothesis. In case the data is accepted, okay, accepted the hypothesis based on the previous existed literatures, then of course we need to quote that. Okay, which author, where, when the particular literature has been conducted, and how we need to give justification for that. What are the research gaps between that? So how the particular research activities being satisfied with the help of a different format, by fulfilling the research gap, or measuring the same thing, or measuring the different one, or identification of the research findings or major research finding with a different aspect or different angles. We need to define that in the preparation of the research of the survey. Communication the finding of the survey. Communicate the finding of the survey. So you need to define what is that in terms of recommendations, implications part of the research. We need to give some recommendation to the the policymakers, okay, the government body or the institutions, educational institutions, or NGOs, like that. So based on our findings, based on what recommendations, what we supposed to proposing to the respective department or government, or any organizations, we need to give some feedback also along with the implications. Okay, so how the particular findings, major findings of the study is that reflecting. So what are the major reason for that? How this particular findings to be carried out further? What are the limitations, delimitations of the studies? You need to define each and everything at the survey report. So this is how uh, the, the survey research activities, survey methods that demands different steps to carried out particular research activities likewise. And methods or instrument used in the collecting the data through survey research. So sampling, as we know that sampling is very important because we need to draw some sampling from the study populations. Questionnaire also we need to assess by using different standardized tools, by mailing a group administrating questionnaires or household drop of survey. Okay, so these are questionnaires being used for us any kind of research activities. So nowadays even virtual mode also countable by using different kinds of virtual mode by collecting the data like a Google form, like online telephonic survey method also applicable nowadays. And structured interview, unstructured interview. Okay, so under the interview, the face-to-face interaction also one of the tools, uh, um, effective tools to collect the data. By using this interview method, actual a fact that we can easily get from the respective sample or representative samples. Okay, the structured, unstructured, and telephonic interview also nowadays very common. We can use the data, we can collect the data by using different mode of interview. Okay, so and then type of survey research, cross sectional survey and then longitudinal survey. There are different types of survey also there. Cross sectional means the best example for a cross sectional survey is research activities is if you want to see the language development or cognitive development of the children from birth to 12 years age group, we need to wait once you select the number of samples till when the person's getting old, like up to 12 years of age. We need to wait till 12 years to identification of the development of the language or development of some behavioral issues. Okay, so by the moment we need to take a different age group at the same time, we try to measure with a different age group. So that is a cross-sectional method, survey method. Longitudinal survey is something different. It is opposite of a cross-sectional survey method. So we need to wait till the purpose is being served. So usually in case if you want to see language development of the children's at the age of till at the age of 12 years, the age the survey has been conducted every years among the same age group, and we need to measure, we need to observe the overall development of the language with different parameters, with different stages, and we need to keep searching, keep studying among the same populations uh, 12 years continuously. So based on that report, we need to based on that data, we need to report it accordingly. So that is longitudinal research activities. This type of research is usually used only when the subject wants to study the same sample for a longer period of time. Okay, such a longitudinal studies may be used to study behavioral changes, attitude changes, religious effect, or any event or practice that may have longer time effect on the selected sample or populations. Okay, for example, uh, language development, cognitive development. So Piaget actually studied cognitive development on his own children's. Okay, so like that, you can use longitudinal study for different purpose. Cross-sectional study is quite opposite of longitudinal studies. Okay, and trend studies, cohort studies,
So,
panel studies also you
so
can.
basically, longitudinal is over a period of time, so that is going in the dimension of time. Cross section is at the same time,
At the
but
same time,
going
you can use
across many different
yeah,
groups.
yes. We can take a different age group to assess the academic adjustment, developmental changes or developmental issues like language development or cognitive development. Okay, with a different age group, at the same time, you can measure and then we can report it. That is
So
cross sectional.
we'll be taking samples of different. We'll be taking the measurements of different samples, like different people, right? I'm
Yes,
just trying to get the example. If
yes.
it is cross sectional, you're doing of different people, but if it's longitudinal, you're going to
Take
study the
study the
same
same person.
person over a period of time. Is
Oh,
that correct?
yes, madam. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
For longer period. And structured interview, unstructured interview. So I think all of you know that structured means everything is structured, free structured before going to conduct any questionnaires or interview, whatever. So it is a predetermined everything. And unstructured means by the moment while we are conducting interview or collecting the data from the samples, by the moment we can ask what are the, so accordingly their mood or interest or how they are responding. By the moment we can ask different questions also. So that is unstructured one. There is no structured actually priorly. Uh, by using different questions, okay, accordingly what actually that situation demands, we can ask. So and then precautions for designing instrument, we need to look into some standardized one and with the systematically. Difficulties on issuing survey research. Okay, some issues also comes while selecting the survey and issue on survey instrument, bias issues, administrative issues. So negative aspect also will be there in survey methods. So obviously any kind of research activities like qualitative and quantitative, it has advantages and disadvantages also accordingly. So which is best way of acquiring new knowledge, it is up to researchers. So that is why, so any dissertation activities, PhD activities, or MPhil activities, there will be a guide. So usually universities or institutions, they will assign supervisor, guide, or mentor to the students. So accordingly, their instructions or guidance, okay, the student has to acquire. They have to follow certain the procedure, systematic procedure to gain something new knowledge. So that is research. So this is about uh, research activities in human science. Uh, so any questions related to formulating hypotheses, objectives, preparing a synopsis, we'll discuss tomorrow. So anyhow, please try to come with different research synopsis, so which will help to, and it is very easier to understand the entire research activities once you prepare that research proposal. Okay, is there any related queries or questions? You can just ask me. Otherwise tomorrow we'll discuss with the different research proposal. Practical
If there are no
explosion.
questions, you can conclude.
Yes, madam.
If there are no questions, you can conclude, sir. 4 o'clock, they will have to join again.
Okay, okay.
Any questions?
If you have any questions, please ask me.
Sir, actually, I don't
Okay,
have
sir.
a
Thank you very
question,
much,
but
sir.
sir, I don't have a question, but a request. I actually missed your last week's class. So, is it possible that any recording can be shared?
Yes, madam. Madam, Imamali, madam, do you have that recorded?
We will share the recording, madam.
Yes,
Even, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We will
Okay.
share, sir.
yes, madam.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you, ma'am,
And we
and
have
thank you,
that
sir.
PPT also. We will let me share that PPT. Also.
PPT also you can share with me, sir. I will share with all the students. Then.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. 4 o'clock you have another class. Please take a break, short break, and come back by 4 o'clock.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.